Hi, my name is Sarah Andrews, and I am here with David Collister as well. Hi, David.
Hello, Sarah.
And we are here to share a bit about the sprint group coaching model we have for OneFreePlanet. And this is a video both for coaches who may want to lead their own sprint groups, as well as anybody who may want to be part of those groups. So we're going to share a bit about the model, what a sprint looks like, and also the compensation bit for the coaches who are involved in this.
Excellent. Supportive online community.
Also part of this is daily check-ins and coaching.
Enduring friendships.
It provides quick and measurable results.
Safe and collaborative environment.
And lastly, fantastic coaching prices, we think.
We think.
We know.
Yes, we do. We know.
So we're going to get into, firstly, what is a coaching sprint? You may have never heard this term before, the sprint. And we're taking this from the world of Agile. Agile is a philosophy that's been in the tech world for about 20 years or so. And we're bringing it into OneFreePlanet and kind of developing our own take on it. And that's the very basic framework for these coaching groups. As it says on the screen, in terms of just the basics of a sprint, what we're calling a sprint, is a week of highly focused collaboration in a small group. These groups are 3 to 7 people, typically, and it's guided by the sprint coach. These groups provide an opportunity for really vibrant friendships. People do connect really quickly and deeply in these groups. The accountability that actually works, and as you experience one of these groups, you'll know what that means. It's accountability that feels good and not like guilt. There's an opportunity for really powerful collaboration in these groups. That's a cornerstone of what OneFreePlanet is about. Quick and measurable results. Agile is all about moving toward a result and being able to measure it, and we're definitely implementing that here in this model. And then, of course, overall, there's a really transformative experience that can happen in these groups in only a week. This is just 5 days, as you'll see in that layout right there. Anything else you would say about the basics, David?
Well, yeah, I like what you said about the accountability. That sounds so strict, like a teacher, a boss, or somebody that's going to hold you down and make you show up and make you perform. And that's not at all what this is. And you experienced that in one of your first sprint groups, actually, how it's really motivated out of love, isn't it? And that's the thing that separates our model from a lot of other models. We're creating first and foremost a very loving community. That's our goal. And so our particular model really creates tight friendships very quickly, and the accountability that's there, it's really built based upon, hey, I really care about these people and their success, so I'm going to show up as my very best, right?
So true. Yeah, that is what happens. So let's get in first into the planning part of this, which is laying the foundation for these results. So we call this first bit of the 5 days the sprint planning process. And during this bit of time, the coach is going to cover the week's agenda and kind of organizational housekeeping sort of matters like the group agreements, the tools technology-wise that everybody uses within the group, the schedule for all the meetings, just confirming that everybody knows that schedule. And then also any option for private coaching that may be offered by that coach. And of course, that's sold separately. That's not part of the sprint itself. The other big part of the planning process is that the sprinters are establishing a foundation for their week by looking at their why, like why are they doing this sprint, the result that they are looking to achieve by the end of the week, and also how they're going to measure it. Those 3 points are really important so that they can set themselves up for progress toward that very clear goal, and knowing how to measure it as they make progress toward it.
So could you give an example about what the why is and the measurement criteria that sounds so advanced and so techy and businessy for an intuitive, collaborative coaching environment?
Yeah, I'll give an example from the first module I ran, actually. My module was called Healing the Heart of Selling. And one of the sprinters who came in had a goal of feeling really confident in her sales conversations by the end of the week. just having a new level of confidence in those conversations. And her,
Mm.
and her why is that she wants to serve these people. She wants to have confidence the whole way through in interacting with these people. And, and then, the result of that being growing her business, of course. And the way that she was going to measure it was that she said that she was going to have 3 conversations by the end of the week. And that gave her really clear criteria for knowing, okay, I've had those conversations and I can assess how I felt in those conversations. So that was something on day 5 she could look back at and, and understand like her progress toward that goal.
And what was the result?
Actually, it was interesting. The result was it morphed throughout the week. And I've seen this happen actually already in just that one module. It does happen. This daily progress you're making toward a goal, just that constant awareness and kind of massaging and, like working it often shifts your original goal and how you're approaching things. And what she ended up kind of like discovering toward the end of the week is that it was just a matter of focusing on having confidence in all conversations, just approaching it like I'm not having a sales conversation right now. I'm here to just have a conversation with anybody and show up confidently in my life in general. So that was
Powerful.
her particular result.
And that came probably, I wasn't in that group, but I know through other groups that we've done that happens through the collaboration, because our coaching model really is a collaborative coaching environment. Yes, in that particular group, you were the coach, and others, you were the client, right? Mm-hmm. But there really is this kind of collaborative environment that's created in our sprint groups that creates these deep bonds very quickly, and also the best of our ideas and the best of our creativity come alive in these groups. People are constantly, I've had some very long-term, conscious, mindful coaches, they've been at it for decades, say that in these groups, they feel like they're growing faster than they've ever grown before, and they're outgrowing their own coaching and training as they're doing it. Like, it's really phenomenal what this collaborative environment does in these very intimate and safe environments.
Yeah, and this foundation is just as much for the coach really as well as the sprinters. The coach, and we're not covering it here, but there's a pre-sprint orientation bit where the coach also shares the why, like why are they doing this? So the coach is also clearly laying a foundation to lead this really effectively and grow in their own work. So coaching obviously is a big piece of this whole week. And we're calling it collaborative coaching for a reason, because we do really want to embrace the idea that it's not about the coach has the answers and everybody else is there to take on those answers and, and view that person as the expert in their own life. What this is about is coming together. The coach has material to share and wisdom and experience and all of that. Yes, it's very important. But they're really there as a guide, because as we covered in the previous slide, every person is coming in with their own goal, their own why. And this content is there to really encourage them toward that goal that they have for themselves, which is not dictated by anybody else. This is really about the collaborative coming together to, take on that topic that is obviously attractive to everybody who is participating in that group, but then apply it to themselves, and to their own goal and progress in a way that is most meaningful for them. So within this coaching, the coach is leading in a way, and they may include exercises or, approaches that they are comfortable with and they know, they believe in their own work, whatever is appropriate to their own work. But there's also this kind of often like conversational element. There are notes that might be taken in the chat that are collaborative. And all of that really is to bring everybody into that process and not have it be a very passive kind of situation.
What do you mean by collaborative notes?
So we do these calls via Zoom, and there's a chat area. So as the coaching is happening, whatever is coming up for anybody in that group, they can put it in the notes in the chat area. And they can be throwing in questions or whatever, whatever happens to come up that can be useful for the collective. Because often what happens when you're going through something like this, you might have like an aha or a question or whatever that comes up. And then like, if you don't take notes on it, you might lose it later on when it could be really useful. So that's one use for it. But also it just the process of everybody contributing to that keeps people engaged as well. And really, being active in the process. So then we get to the bit after the coaching, which is about preparing the tasks, because every day you're moving the learning and the coaching forward with a task. It's about this agile kind of approach is about learning, integrating, and then taking action, and then coming back and learning more and taking action. So there's this constant kind of back and forth, so that it really is, solidifying something in you in terms of learning and a potential for change, and then actually making a change. So this part before or right at the end of the call is about looking at there's two different parts actually. Each sprinter will look at their own particular goal, and given what they just learned within the coaching, or maybe what came up, what they're discovering in that moment, they'll formulate a task for themselves, and the coach will guide them through this, and it's kind of a collective effort as well. But that gives them a task to do and maybe more than one, but a task to do before the next call that will then further what they're taking away from that call. The coach may also choose to provide tasks that apply to the group overall, to kind of solidify the content and the learning as well. But there's definitely the one that is personal to each sprinter.
One of the most important things about Agile is not getting everything perfect, right? Mm-hmm. Agile is what grew companies like Google and Facebook. It's a philosophy, and it's a way of getting people to work together in small groups, right? And one of the things that I love about Agile, and I've been a coach for probably 37 years. I started coaching when I was 18 years old in the spiritual community, and I'm 57 now, so almost 40. And what I love about the Agile group coaching environment, or anything Agile that we're doing, is it's about learning a little bit, learning something, taking action that day, right away. It's all about getting things out of us quickly, whereas a lot of coaching that I've done, speaking for me as a coach, it gets a little frustrating sometimes, because you find yourself working with people on the same thing over and over again, largely because they never got around to doing the thing that they said they were going to do. In this environment where you have a group of people all collaborating, all setting standards for themselves, and then saying what their goal is for the day, they show up having done those things almost always. And when they do, they learn something. So it's learn, internalize it, do it. Internalize it, learn. Internalize it, do it. And it's just this repetitive thing for 5 days in a row, and it really affects tremendous change very quickly because of that learning, getting it out of the head, getting it into the heart, getting it from the heart, and getting it out into the world. And so people show up differently when they do that.
Yeah, it's so true. So the sprint is not just about meeting every day for an hour. It does continue. I mean, the whole week is considered a sprint. And a big part of that is, like we've been saying, the work that happens after the meeting. So you have your tasks, and as the sprinter, you go out and you do those, you complete them. You stay committed to your own movement, towards your goal. So there is that element of self-work after each meeting. And it is, like we've been saying, it's that crucial element of the action after the learning. That's that huge piece of this sprint. So
it's huge. And what I love about our groups that we've done over the last years, that the sprinters, the people taking your coaching, or the people taking the coaching from whomever, is they, a lot of times when you do homework as a kid, you get together with a friend and you do your homework, right? So that it's more fun and it's not such a drag and doesn't feel like work. We often find in these groups that the self-work that's done outside of the call, after the call, they do it together. Like they'll meet on Zoom themselves, or they'll give each other a call, or if they get stuck on something, they've got other people to go to other than the coach, who are peers that can kind of say, yeah, I was dealing with that too today. Let's see if we can work this out together. Or here's what I got that helped me move along. And, oh, that's great. That's a great idea. I can do that. That totally solves my challenge for getting this next thing done that I wanted to do. So it's a very collaborative, not just in the meeting, but it can be and often is very collaborative outside of the actual coaching session where they're doing their self-work.
Yeah, and that may include the Facebook group as well, because there is that available to the whole group as well. So excellent. The huddle is another huge piece of this. So after they have their tasks and they go do their self-work, then the next call starts with the huddle, which is all about checking in with, the coach is leading this, but everybody checking in on their tasks. Did you complete that? that's kind of the main point of it. But also there's an element of asking about a pause, pivot, or proceed insight. You know, having done that task, what are you noticing in your life that you might want to pause or pivot? Maybe like there's something you want to shift in your life, or what are you recognizing that you want to continue with or proceed with? So those are the two elements that we address in the huddle. And it's really just a quick check-in at the beginning of each call, maybe 10 to 15 minutes. And it provides that accountability within this supportive environment. And then, like we said, that integration, full integration of the learning from the task before you launch into a next piece of it. So then lastly, you get to the end of the week and we have the sprint review. So this whole process is leading up to that final day where you get to look at, you know, your progress. You had this goal, you knew what results you wanted, you knew how to measure it. And so then we spend, you know, you might do a quick huddle in the beginning, but then the bulk of that day is all about the sprint review and everybody sharing their progress toward their original goals, sharing their overall pause, pivot, and proceed insights. And then also that kind of like unfolds into next steps and appreciating themselves, appreciating the sprinters. I mean, by then everybody's so connected. It's just a love fest, which is so fun. It really is. I think it's a wonderful way to end the week.
It is a wonderful way to end the week. One of the things that I think is really important for coaches to know, this kind of gets to the heart of our goal isn't just to provide those of you who are coaches a new model. There's all kinds of models out there, but what we want, we're taking a holistic approach. We're building a platform where people can promote, get you clients. Like we'll have everybody in OneFreePlanet trying to help everybody get more clients and create more awareness and spiritual growth in their personal lives or in the lives of the people that they're, you know, serving. But one of the things that really stands out for the coaches in terms of marketing, you know, that's my background, is marketing and growing businesses. And this sprint review is absolute marketing gold. This is so freaking awesome. So, you know, everybody, when they go online and buy stuff, Sarah, what's the thing that they do before they make a purchase on Amazon? What does most everybody do? They look at the reviews, right?
Check the reviews, yeah.
Yeah, and so this is a review, but this is a recorded review, and everybody knows that this is recorded. So basically, you have, say, 5 people in this group as a coach, and they've gone through this incredible week where they not only had personal transformation, they got some great advice and insights from you, but they also made these incredible friendships very quickly because they are all supporting each other. They're all in this thing, not for the same why. They all have different reasons, but they're all focusing on the same thing, like healing the heart of selling. You're going to draw people who have issues with selling themselves or selling their tools or whatever they've created or are selling, right? But so they come together and they're in this love fest day 5, and it really is like a love fest. They are so high on what they just experienced. This is where they're going to declare what it is they set out as a goal at the beginning of the week, how they were going to measure it, and they're going to tell people in their other sprint mates and the coach what they did, what they got as results. And people say the most remarkable things, and they know this is being recorded. They also know that this will be shared for training purposes and or for marketing purposes. You can take these individuals, so if you've got 5 people giving testimonies in your sprint review, you could chop them up and have 5 different testimonies for this. You go through about a month worth of these things. So a sprint is 1 week. If you did 4 weeks of it with different people every time, and you had 5 people, let's say, in each group, you would have, at the end of 4 weeks, you'd have 20 different sprint review videos from individuals, right? Mm-hmm. Individual things that when you put that on your website and say, this is what some people have said, this isn't just a written thing. This is a person with a big old smile on their face or tears in their eyes, excitement in their voice, saying this is the most amazing thing. And you've had people who spend a lot of money, tens of thousands of dollars on personal development, into your last one say, what did she say? She said about this 1 week group coaching thing. I
had somebody say it was the best investment she made all year, which was amazing. It was just so wonderful to hear that this worked so well so quickly. for, especially for people who are so savvy when it comes to personal development, it's a really powerful week. And of course, people who are experiencing that, they're just being authentic, and authenticity sells. So it's
really
wonderful
does.
on that front as a marketing tool, but it's also just wonderful to share it, because it's amazing to celebrate people who are creating huge change in their lives. So you wrap up the week basically with offering whatever next steps the coach might have for people. That's kind of a natural unfolding of they've wrapped up their week, now what? So the coach may have other coaching groups that they're offering. Maybe there's a follow-up to the module that those people just participated in that you could offer to your sprinters. You may have other resources that you want to provide, whatever relates to your topic. You may have private coaching that you want to offer them, or a summary of the week, whatever it is that makes sense for you as the coach to offer. This is the time to do it. And then of course, also reminding the sprinters, if they want to continue, we have a great opportunity in OneFreePlanet, our 3 for free program that we call it, that if anybody who gets 3 subscribers referred under their affiliate account will automatically earn a free credit that they could then apply to more coaching or training. So there's that option.
Right.
To be reminded.
So the way that works in short, basically, is if you have 5 people go through one of these sprint groups with you as a coach, if they know that if they went out and got 3 friends for you, 3 of their friends to take this training next week, leveraging those wonderful sprint review videos that they just recorded, if they go out and get 3 friends to do that, they get OneFreePlanet. We will give them a free credit. And that free credit doesn't mean there's no money attached to it. When they use those free credits, OneFreePlanet pays you just as if they paid for that.
Well, we are going to get to the compensation in just a minute, but I also just want to say you're talking a lot about the collaboration. And once you're a coach in our system, you're in a Facebook group with all of the other coaches too. So you can draw from, their ideas and their wisdom and their experience. And it can be a constantly collaborative experience for you that way too. But
Absolutely.
Getting to the compensation piece, which of course is also very important. This is just a layout here on the screen of exactly the breakdown from the $88 that comes in for a subscription credit. And most of the modules, at least at first that we have that are offered, are just 1 credit modules. So everything is 88. If people are purchasing at the full price, which is 108, you'll see over on the right-hand side there, that extra $20, we as OneFreePlanet, we're a charitable organization. So we're gonna put that toward, relief work and, things that are important to, to our values and what we're healing in the world. So that extra goes to charity. But we do expect that the most common price people will be paying is the subscription, because it's $20 less, and why not, So from that 88, the coach who's leading this group will make 48 of that 88. They're the ones
which is about 55% of.
Yeah, they're the ones providing
total.
the service, and so we pay them that chunk of it. Not anybody, the person who brought in that coach, who enrolled that coach as an affiliate, gets $8 from that 88, because we want to be compensating the people who are introducing, other people into OneFreePlanet who are providing this service. We want to, they're.
I'll pause right there. Don't go any further. I want to talk about that for the coaches that are watching. Listen, if you stop coaching, you stop making money. And when we say we want to put an end to scarcity, there's really only one way you can put an end to scarcity in somebody's life, and that's to make them financially independent. Financial independence doesn't mean that somebody's wealthy. Financial independence, if you look it up according to the IRS, financial independence means you have enough passive income coming in that you can pay your bills. You don't have to work. So we want to create that for you as a coach. Wouldn't it be wonderful if you could create a passive income through OneFreePlanet? And the way that you would do that is bringing in other coaches, right? So imagine you have a very successful coach that's doing several of these meetings a day. Maybe they're training 10 to 20 or 30 people a day in this environment, which is very realistic. That means if they're doing 20 people a day, you brought a coach in, that means you're making 20 times $8, which is $160 a day just by introducing that coach. Well, if you introduce 10 coaches, multiply that 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 20 times 80 or $160 times 10, you're making $1,600 a day at that point, right? So who do coaches know? They know a lot of other coaches. And you don't have to be a coach to introduce a coach or be a coach's connector. But this is how we want to get you into financial independence, that end of scarcity, where if you want to take a vacation or if you want to go to a retreat for a month or a week or whatever and just totally veg or meditate or whatever, you've got the time to do that because you're helping other coaches get involved in One Free Planet. We're turning around and redirecting a portion of their proceeds, about 10%, into those people who introduce those coaches. So that's one of the ways of many that you'll be able to create financial independence for yourself, is by introducing other coaches. So that's what the Coaches Connector $8 is for there.
Yeah, thank you for explaining that more. It is a really, I mean, it's a great opportunity. And like you said, coaches know coaches, you know, and I mean, all of us know a lot of people. But, you know, when you're on Facebook and promoting your friends, whatever, you don't get paid for that. You don't know what happens from that. So here's an opportunity to actually be compensated for your contribution to the overall success of everyone. That's what we're really about here. But
I have to correct myself real quickly, Sarah, before I forget. You know how forgetful I am. I said it was $160 a day. That would be $160 a week if they had a coach doing 20 people a day. That means a week. They get paid for the whole week, not for the day. So 160 a week, and if they had 10 of those coaches, it would be $1,600 a week for that. So I thought, boy, those numbers sound really fantastic. How did we figure that one out? It's such a low.
And we do, you know, I mentioned the free credits before, so we do have a portion set aside to fund those free credits. So that's the $10 there, meaning that the total that we're paying out to those various roles and responsibilities there is 66. So of the 88, we're paying out 66, and then that leaves One Free Planet on the corporate operational kind of side, $22 to work with. This is the basic compensation structure that we're presenting for this particular situation. We will later on have training that rolls out, and it looks a little bit different for that because it's a scalable sort of thing. And then, of course, One Free Planet.
It's the same compensation plan. They're just more roles.
Right.
So some of that money is distributed differently. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and we'll share that when we get into the training, offering that through One Free Planet. And then, of course, One Free Planet also will be offering its own coaching and training modules, which changes this a little bit and provides a little bit more for One Free Planet. But this is what coaches need to know if you want to get involved in this. This is what you need to know in terms of your own payout. So just to wrap this all up, you know, just revisiting the benefits of this, we have the supportive online community. You're going to have that Facebook group for the coaches, and also if you're a sprinter. The daily check-ins and coaching, of course, is a huge part of what this is about. There are definitely enduring friendships that develop throughout the course of just 5 days. The quick and measurable results that we're seeing in this model in particular are like way beyond anything that a lot of people have experienced in other coaching contexts. This is a safe and collaborative environment that's very important to us. And then, of course, fantastic coaching prices. I mean, like $88 for a week of really solid coaching and like crazy results. I mean, that's pretty good.
That's amazing. It really is.
And we do really want that. That's our mission here at One Free Planet, is for everybody's life to transform in the way that's meaningful for them and ultimately will end scarcity for everybody. So thank you for taking the time to watch this and get involved, and we really appreciate you. Thank you.